Gotta get the shoulder. Hey YouTube, it's Cutt here, and we're bringing you another one. I know, I look ridiculous, but this is what they gave us. They gave us a few things, but we'll talk about that. But this got to come off. One, because it's hot. I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna show you later. But also, I can't see without my glasses, so they could have been cleaned a little bit better. All right, hey YouTube, it's Cutt here, and we're bringing you another one. Okay, I am very excited because today, I was about to say, where the images at? They slow. Okay, today we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So excited, but we'll get into all that in a second. Remember, my Patreon is active. This is a new month. So this is a perfect time to join the Patreon because you get the full access of, the whole month. So if you do the first tier, which is the official Patreon, you get early access to my tutorials that I'm going to be posting every Tuesday. So stay tuned for the one that's coming out next week. I'm very excited. If you get the second tier, which is the all access Patreon, you get free monthly wallpapers for your desktop, computer, and phone. And guess what the monthly one is for August? Oh yes, Powerpuff Girls. But I realized that you could just do a screenshot. We're going to get this thing off the screen quickly. Okay, granted, it's not going to be the same quality unless you get it from me. But anyway, and if you did a VIP, okay, the VIP Patreon, you get the free digital packs. Okay, so either it's vectors, brushes, 3D models, what have you. All right, I didn't put the one out today yet, but later on, I'm going to put it out for the early access people, and it's probably going to be one of the 3D models, so stay tuned. But this is the perfect time to come in, and the good thing is, no matter what time you come in as a Patreon, you can always get the brush pack #1 and the Cutt coloring book. That's for every Patreon that becomes a VIP. Isn't it special? Oh, yes. And do not worry. This is a non-spoiler review. I will not be spoiling this movie because I like surprises, and I hope you like surprises too. Okay, if you have not already, okay, do not forget to like, subscribe. Things be working, then they don't want to be. Like, subscribe, push that notification button because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. So let's get to it. Let me get my little list up. There we go. All right. So phenomenal movie. Keep in mind, I'm not really, excuse me. Ooh, burping. I got some energy drink here. Oh, look, there go that Powerpuff Girls right there. Powerpuff Girls right there. Anyway, I wasn't into Ninja Turtles because that's before my time. That's before my era. Never was really into it. But when I saw this trailer, I was like, this looks like it's going to give me everything I need. And it did. So we're going to go over my rating. My rating is a 9.5 out of 10. I really don't know why I'm not giving it a 10. There's something about it that's making me not give it a 10. But anyway, it's a 9.5. And I still think come on. Can you get any better than that? All right. What's the vibes? So it's giving a little bit of Mitchell's versus Michael's. Mitchell's versus the Machines. Who is Michael's? Okay. It's giving a little bit of Spider-Verse. And you got to remember, Spider-Verse changed the game when it came to this type of style. Like, they were the first to ever do this. Let me rephrase that. That's not true. But they were the first to make it a popular thing. They were the first to take it on as a feature film, to take this type of really artsy-fartsy style, okay? And everyone else is starting to catch up on it. And it also gave me the vibes of HBO Crashbox. Now, you know how you're not privileged in the many ways, but then there are ways you are privileged and you kind of forget about those ways? Well, one of those ways was I didn't realize how early I had cable until I realized I was watching shows on cable, HBO, and like they had like family shows, and none of my friends knew what I was talking about. They're like, if it's not Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, we don't know what you're saying. And I was like, nobody knows. So Crashbox was on HBO Family HBO. Oh, I know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just feel alone. Please let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, because now I feel like, obviously somebody was watching. Anyway, but this style, this movie really has this rough, rusty, everything feels a little rustic. Not a little, a lot. And Crash Box had that same feeling, and I love that. It was like a smart show, like a out of the box. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, those were the vibes it was giving me. Okay, should you see this in theaters? Yes. It's very alive. It's very fun. It's very big. It's very dramatic. It's very extra, and you need a big screen to watch it in. I don't think it was in IMAX. That's just my picture here. But if you could see it in the theaters, go see it. It's really good. It's really good. I'm excited to see where it falls on my ranking at the end of the year on best films. Okay. Do you need to watch a previous movie? Now, I don't know because I only probably saw half of the Ninja Turtle movies and things. Only seen some of the episodes that were shows back in the day. So it's hard for me to say. It felt like it was given a little bit of Super Mario in a sense of nostalgia. Like if you watch the Mario movie, it's like you got to know something because it's Mario, right? So even if you never played the games or ever was in, you know a little bit because he's part of pop culture. I think Ninja Turtles the same thing. Like you got to know they like pizza. You got to know that they have a rat as a dad. Like you got to know some stuff. And I feel like even if you missed it, you're going to be okay. Because like I said, I'm not into it, and yet I felt fine. I didn't feel lost or confused at all whatsoever. Okay. Back to the theaters. We'll get to the director in a second, but back to the theater, because I like to talk about the gifts that you get. This was the most gifts I ever got from a thing. You know, I want to go back to the theater. I want to go back. There we go. So first of all, you get this little mask. Okay, you know what? Just turn the whole thing. Just turn them all off. You get the mask, which is, you know, it's pretty good quality for a mask. And I'm always like, how much did they spend on how many theaters for these little, you know, it seems little, but like this stuff costs. I mean, I guess they have a budget. All movies have budgets. And, they market it pretty well. Not as good as Barbie marketed. Barbie was everywhere. I heard they spent a lot of money on marketing. Anyway, you get this little, they said it's a comic book, but really it's just a pamphlet of different pictures from back in the day. I didn't get a chance to really look through it yet. I think that's pretty cool. And, I mean, like, one thing is enough, but maybe he just gave me all three. I don't know. But the point is, it was the early access. Anyway, this poster, he gave me this poster. This is pretty cool. I like it. Now, how y'all know I don't put posters up, so I'm gonna roll it up with the other posters that I got from the previous movies. But I think that might be the best poster so far, not the biggest. The biggest poster was Blackening. That was ridiculously big, like bigger than normal posters. Like, what's going on? But this might be the coolest because I love the art style, and who doesn't love pizza? Like, come on. And I love drawing food. So anyway, so let's okay. Let's turn these back on. We gotta go through them because that's just the way this thing works. All right, so now let's get to the director. Now you know how I am with names. And I don't even be trying to practice. Oh, this is pretty simple. His name is Jeff Rowe. Just saying, I guess that's the point. If you say the names with confidence, no one ever knows if you're really wrong or not. But it's just, I don't know how to read, spell, or count. So, and we have the movies and shows that he worked on. So the reason why it has a vibe like Mitchell's versus the Machines is because he directed Mitchell's versus the Machines. Granted, Mitchell's versus the Machines was not nearly as rough. I mean, it was rough, but this was like a whole nother level. Like, it looked like a kid just did this in a good way, not in a bad way. And then he also did Gravity Falls, which makes sense because Gravity Falls has this like playful way of speaking and cleverness. I really wanted to go deeper into the show. I'm gonna give it another chance. I didn't really go deep like I did Adventure Time or Steven Universe, where like I love Steven Universe, but I want to give this one another chance because I feel like I heard it's a really good show and the style is really, really good. And then he also did, what's the name of it? Oh, Disenchantment, which I've never seen before. I think it came on either Hulu or Netflix. I think it was Hulu. Yeah, but I think it was Hulu. Never really got into it. But I'm sure it did okay. I don't really know. All right, moving on. Here go the cast. Now, I know I started doing it this way, but for animation, you want to see the character next to the actor. So I starred the people I'm about to go into, but the one I didn't star that I want to mention is Seth Rogen, and he played what's the name of the character? Bebop, which was like a big pig type of warhog. Is that what you call it? Whatever. Not big role. I mean, he was in there, but nothing really crazy, but nothing to really talk about. But I wanted to bring him up here. And the reason I'm bringing him up here is because we'll talk about end credit a little bit later, but there was a credit situation before the movie started. And I missed a little bit because I was running a little bit late, and I was trying to get my my icy. I was trying to get my icy. They finally had the green icy, and the thing is, what had happened was, every time I was going through, they didn't have it. Then they finally had it, but I was running late. But I was like, we're going to get my icy today. So I only got like the last 3 minutes. And I know it's 3 minutes because it had a little countdown because, you know, kid movies. It was like, this how long until the movie starts. But it was a little like pre-game explain different things. And Seth Rogen was speaking about how great it was and why they really wanted to make sure that these kids felt like teenagers. And I've been saying that a long time about these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles never felt like teenagers. These was grown mans. These was grown men. But this movie, out of all the times I've ever seen them, felt like teenagers. And I'm glad they made the point. Because if you're not going to be teenagers and take the T out of the name. Okay, let's get into these actors. All right, everyone knows Jackie Chan, which I did not know Jackie Chan played Splinter. Splinter's the dad character or adopted dad character of the Ninja Turtles who taught them how to fight. Okay? Which is fantastic. Now, I don't know none of these kids, but they did a phenomenal job. So now, I hope I got these right. So Leonardo, played by Nicholas Cantu, he did a phenomenal job. Really, really good job. He's like the leader. Not like, he's the leader. Well, he's trying to figure it out in this at least. But he's the leader. And then you have, was it Donatello? Played by Micah Abbey. Really good job. Cool character, but not my favorite. And then you have, what's his name? Raphael, played by Brandy Noon. This character is pretty funny because he's a little wild. He a little cray. And you kind of like that a lot. But my favorite character, I really like this character. And of course, it's a black person playing it, but I really connected to him. He's my favorite, and I never realized or knew, but I really loved him. And as much as red is my favorite color, I secretly like orange. But we're not gonna say that out loud because red's my favorite color. But orange on the logo might be my favorite color. Anyway, yeah. So okay, what is his name? Michelangelo, played by Shaman Brown Jr. I did better with the names this time. And I did not know this was her. But you have April O'Neil. April O'Neil is the name of the character, played by Ayo. Here we go now. Edbury. Let's just say that's right. Great character. I mean, yeah, good character. Oh, I can't talk about it because it's a spoiler, but there is a scene of her in front of a camera. That's all I'm going to say. And if I was in that theater by myself, I think I would have been screaming at the top. I was laughing, but I wish I could have really let it go. Like if I was watching at home, I would be screaming at the top of my lungs. There is a scene. And I was like, why are they doing this on the kids show? But I thought it was the funniest part of the movie. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about the villain. So there's two villains here, and I don't know why it took so long to realize it was two villains for some reason, because this one's the obvious villain, and then there's another one who is the villain. This one, so you know how I have a list of 16 different types of villains. So this is obviously Ice Cube, if you couldn't already tell, and he plays a character called Superfly, and so he has two types of villain directions. He's the corrupted, which is like one side, and then he's the anti-villain in another way. I kind of have to leave it there when it comes to that particular character. Now, when we talk about the second villain, who's the main villain, this villain, first of all, I didn't even realize. I should have known because I kind of really enjoyed her. Maya Rudolph. I mean, she does not get the credit that she deserves. I'm sorry, I need a little liquid. Ooh, that's good. So she plays more like a mastermind. I think there's more to this. I'm sure people know who this character is supposed to be, or I think this is a gender bang because I think it was a male character in the animations, and they decided to make it a woman for Maya Rudolph. I'm not sure. Anyway, I really, really enjoyed those two villains. All right, what's the message? I had a little bit of a hard time here, but I felt there's kind of two small little messages. One is find your people. Find your people. I truly believe friendship is important. you really can't go through life without any friends. You just, I don't believe that's really possible. Doesn't mean you have to have like a billion friends, but you gotta have somebody you can talk to, somebody who can relate to you. And family is important, but it sometimes just ain't your family, or it's not only your family. You need people who aren't connected to you by blood, but are connected to you by experience and interests and all those things. And I think this movie demonstrates that being popular is not the key, especially for high schoolers who, yes, being popular can be nice and all, but you gotta just be happy with who you can connect with, even if you're the losers. Like, be the losers with your friends. At least you got some friends. Like, that's important to me. Me personally, I can't say I was popular. Everybody knew who I was. Does that make any sense? I wasn't like popular, but everyone knew who I was. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, but my friends was not like cool. We were like nerds, drama kids, whatever. Anyway, I think that was one thing. And then another thing, did I have a card for that? Oh no, that's the other card. The other thing I think, and this I kind of want to put on a shirt, so I'm kind of upset that I'm saying it right now and not on a shirt, but fear is a lie. And I discovered this, fear is actually a lie. And the reason why I realized this is because as you live life, everyone experiences different things, right? So you might be afraid of spiders, someone might be afraid of snakes, someone else might be afraid of an irrational thing, somebody might be afraid of, heights, all different type of things. But you mix those all around, the person that might be afraid of snakes is not afraid of heights, and the person that's maybe afraid of heights is not afraid of spiders. So then it's not consistent, and when you're not consistent, there's a lie involved, which means fear is a lie. So if you're afraid, but then someone else isn't, that means it's a lie. That means just as equally as they are not afraid, you could not be afraid. You just have to understand why they're not. So I don't know. There are realistic fears. That doesn't mean it's not realistic, but it could still be a lie. And the reason I bring that up here is because I feel like there was some fears that the characters had about certain things that had truths in it. There was some truths. Like, okay, being afraid of heights is a valid fear because your fear is that you might fall and die. It's an understandable fear, but some people are just not afraid of heights. So that means you're lying to yourself. Get over it. You can overcome it, is my point. That's some of the situations, is fearing of people, fearing of other sides. And I think it's a lie. And I'm going to leave it at that. As if I go any farther, I think it'll spoil some of the movie as well. Anyway, I thought it was great. Don't put fear is a lie on the shirt until I put it on there first, and then you can try to steal it from me. Okay, what could be better? This was hard because I really liked the movie. This is more of a personal problem. I wish I knew more. I wish I was a little bit more invested into this world. Maybe I would have really, really felt a bigger impact of the nostalgia of this movie. But I didn't feel nostalgia when I watched this. I just felt, wow, this is a good movie. But I think if you love the Ninja Turtles and you watch this, this is the Super Mario Brothers for you. It's just Super Mario. That's how it was for me. Super Mario Brothers was like nostalgia. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Cinematography. Like I said, I don't usually use the word cinematography for animation, although it is cinematography. It's not really the proper word for it. But the moves, the vibes, the lighting, the textures of this movie, they didn't care. Like, that's what I liked about this movie. I'm talking about the animators and the designers and all the people. They did not hesitate to make it rough. They did not hesitate. Yet all the beautiful angles and all that is still there, but the texture, the light was scribbly. The particles were scribbly. It was so done so well. Please get this movie some awards because the design of this movie is phenomenal. Let's talk a little bit about, we'll get back into world design and all that. Let's talk a little bit about animation. The animation was phenomenal. The movement, it doesn't have any like stretchy type of wiggliness like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but it has a really, and there's some cool fighting scenes. There's one scene that they did really good where it's hard to explain it, but basically they're fighting, each character is fighting, each turtle is fighting, but it's hard to explain, but basically the characters here, the background's changing per character, but it looks like one turtle is fighting, but it keeps cutting the, I don't know how to explain it, but wow, they did that so good. Did that so good. Okay, moving on. So we're going into character design. The only cute characters were the turtles. Everybody else except the black girl, she was pretty cute too. So maybe the main characters, the turtle and the black girl, super cute. Love the style, everything. Everybody else was real lopsided, side of the cheek ripped off, head is a little bit lumpy, eyeballs is big, one bigger than the other one, somebody hunched over on the back, hair coming out. It's a situation. These people going through it in this movie. They are going through it, okay? But they went for it, and that's what I like. Me personally, I wouldn't have went that route, but I love that they did because it gave the movie texture, because humans are lopsided, but there was extreme lopsidedness. I love the character design in this movie. Oh my goodness. Music, score, really good soundtrack. This actually takes me into world design because it's New York. So it had, as rough as the style of the art is as rough as the music was, and just had a certain New York aesthetic that I really like. Isn't that picture cool? I found this picture for music, and isn't that just fits so perfectly. Anyway, yeah, the sound design when they're fighting, just really good. Really good. Let's get into world design. I just wanted to break it down. It's really kind of just two locations, pretty much. There is another location that's pretty cool with bad guy, when you first meet the bad guy. I did like how they did that. I think it's in a bowling alley. But what I'm going to talk about is the pipes, which is underground, which can lead you to their home. Really felt that, not vast, maybe that's not the best word. It didn't feel vast. It felt warm. That's a better way. It felt warm. It felt like you are home with them. You felt, even though it's pipes, you felt like this is their home. This is where they feel comfortable at the very least, because that's where their dad is. That's where they grew up. You know, so the design of that was really good, but they made the upstairs world, the world, really feel like a separation. Like you really felt like it's two different places, but it's really just underneath you, right? I found that to be really fascinating. And talking about the upstairs world, we talked about it a little bit. New York, this is the best picture I can get. They designed New York so well. I've watched so many movies that the theme and location is New York, but I never watched a movie in New York and was like, wow, is this what it feels like to, you know what? Okay, so I'm from Philly. So when I see a movie that takes place in Philly, I'm always like, wow, that's so cool because it's my hometown and I know these areas, blah, blah, blah. But, it's hard to feel that anywhere else. This was my first time feeling that, even though I'm not a New Yorker, but I'm a little bit of a New Yorker. I really enjoyed that. And I felt that with this movie, and the style and the lighting and all the textures and temperatures of this film. Phenomenal. Okay, I do have it here on this list where it says costume design. I actually took it off of I didn't put it on the slide because no one's really wearing outfits. So I'm just kind of going to pass on that one. And then we're just gonna move right on to end credits. There is a small end credit scene, not all the way at the end of the thing, okay, but just right at the end of the movie, there's an end credit scene. And I can't give anything away. There is a cameo of a character that I don't know who is obviously someone important. Like if you know the movie, you'll know who that. I almost choked right there. That's why I had to pause. If you know who the Ninja Turtles are, you probably know who that character is. It's like that, but I don't know. So that's number one, and it definitely hinted to a second movie, which is our next slide. Is there a second movie? Will there be a second movie? I don't know. I don't know if it will be, but it should be. And it probably will be because if it does good in the box office, it's going to have a second movie. But also, it just was such a good feeling movie. Like you just feel like your heart just feels like filled with love. You know what I mean? Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. What's the conclusion? It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Take your kids. Kids will love this. Kids are going to love this. Parents are going to love this. Adults are going to love this. It's one of those movies that everybody can be entertained. It's hilarious. It's pop culture ready. It's a very poppy culture movie. Okay. I could say maybe only like a few movies this year was very pop culture. Barbie was one of them. Mario was one of them. that's probably it. Even Spider-Verse, I can't really lean it into like pop culture energy. But this movie, like the names that's dropping and the inside jokes and all the things, and they are real teenagers acting like real teenagers, and I loved it. Oh, that was the thing in the beginning part before the movie started. They talked about the kids. They recorded the audio of the kids together, which they don't usually do in animations. It's easier to have them separated. It's better dealing with audio and stuff like that. But they knew they needed the chemistry, and I'm so glad they did that. They needed the chemistry of those 4 kids to be together so that they can ad-lib and just be teenagers. And they kept all that silliness. I'm about to go watch it again. That's how good it was. They kept all the silliness of the teenagers, and it made it so funny. I love a good movie. If you have not already. Oh wait, I don't even know what I'm gonna go see next week. I don't think I've seen anything this week, because Ninja Turtles I had early access. Something's coming out next week that I'm gonna go see, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to join the Patreon. I got a lot of good stuff coming, and that's it. If you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button, because we're gonna keep bringing this stuff to you. That's it. That's all I got. What are you doing? I know you're not about to leave. It's mad buttons down there. You ain't pushed on one of them. You better subscribe to my channel. See you soon.